The hallway was quiet, almost too quiet. Marble tiles reflected the soft morning light filtering through tall windows, and the faint hum of the city outside seemed miles away. A crystal chandelier swayed gently above, catching a stray sunbeam that danced across polished surfaces. Somewhere deep within the mansion, a clock ticked, steady and unforgiving. No one spoke, no one moved. And yet, something was about to happen that would change the life of a woman no one really saw, and a man who had built walls so high he forgot what it meant to feel. Camilla arrived just as she did every morning before the sun had fully risen. Her shoes whispered against the marble, a quiet rhythm in an empty house. She carried her cleaning supplies with practiced ease, dark hair tied tightly at the back, her uniform simple, unassuming. To anyone else she was invisible, a shadow moving between rooms, dusting and polishing, doing her work without recognition. But to Alexander Ashworth, the reclusive billionaire who had long believed people were either opportunists or obstacles, she was different. He had watched her for months, unnoticed, cataloging every gesture, every quiet decision. She never lingered where she didn't belong. She never glanced at the jewelry or the stacks of money that surrounded her employer. She did her work carefully, honestly, without expectation. That steadiness unsettled him more than any betrayal ever had. That morning, Alexander had devised a test. It was cruel, cold, a deliberate temptation. In the study, the safe stood wide open, steel door glinting, stacks of cash piled like green bricks, gold and diamonds catching the light. Security cameras were disabled for a single fleeting moment. He knew she would come through at exactly 8:42 a.m. and he would watch. He wanted to see if honesty could survive in a moment designed to destroy it. Camilla entered the room slowly. The sunlight hit the steel door first, bouncing off the polished floor and catching her eyes. She froze, her duster paused midair, fingers lingering over the folds of her apron. She glanced at the safe, then toward the hallway. No one, silence. She breathed in slowly, measured, as if deciding whether what she saw could be real. And then she did something that made Alexander's chest tighten. She reached for her rag and began wiping the edges of the safe. Not a single bill was touched. She didn't count or shift the stacks. She simply cleaned, quietly, methodically, reverently. The safe was part of the mansion, like the walls or the floors, deserving of care, not curiosity. For a moment, Alexander thought he had misjudged everything. Then, almost imperceptibly, Camilla reached into her pocket and drew out a small, folded photograph. She glanced toward the hallway, then gently set it on the edge of the safe beside the untouched money. Two little girls, wide smiles, standing before a hospital bed where an older woman lay, fragile but smiling. Camilla whispered something, soft as a shadow, and then kissed the photo, folding it carefully back into her pocket. She closed the safe. She turned and left, leaving the wealth untouched, leaving behind a quiet proof that integrity was not extinct. Alexander stepped back, stunned, tears forming before he could blink them away. He hadn't expected this. Not grace, not humility, not the kind of goodness that doesn't need recognition. That evening, Alexander couldn't sleep. The image of the photo, the gentle kiss, the safe left alone, it all replayed in his mind. He realized that in protecting his empire, in guarding against betrayal, he had forgotten something vital, that trust and honesty could still exist in the quiet corners of the world. And he had almost failed to notice it right in front of him. The next morning, Camilla found a letter on the kitchen counter, written in Alexander's steady, precise hand. It was simple yet heavy with meaning. Integrity is priceless, but so is peace. You have given me both. Attached was a check, blank signed, a gesture without expectation, without pomp, just gratitude. Camilla sank into the nearest chair, tears streaming silently. The weight she had carried, the fear of losing her home, her daughter's needs, her mother's illness, lifted slightly, not because she had begged, not because she had taken, but because she had chosen what was right when no one was watching. That weekend, Alexander visited her modest home, not as a boss but as a friend. He sat at the small wooden table, talking with her daughters, sharing moments she had quietly cherished but never celebrated. He brought documents to help her buy a home in a safer neighborhood, offered her a new role with full benefits, flexible hours, and respect she had never expected. He offered her trust, something rarer than gold or cash, something she had earned silently through integrity. The mansion remained unchanged, marble still gleaming, chandeliers still shimmering, but something inside Alexander had shifted, and something inside Camilla, already strong, now had space to breathe. Sometimes the hardest tests are not public. Sometimes the greatest courage is invisible. Sometimes wealth is measured not in safes and treasures but in the quiet, steadfast choices we make when no one is looking. If this story touched you, if it reminded you that the world still holds unseen goodness, please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more soulful stories. And if you believe in quiet courage, comment the word "seen" below. This script is around 1,000 words, emotionally cinematic with slow burn tension, deep empathy, and high retention hooks throughout. It never rushes, it leaves viewers reflective at the end while naturally inviting engagement. If you want, I can also break this script into a precise scene-by-scene cinematic storyboard with camera angles, lighting, and visual prompts, so it's ready to turn into an ultra-realistic cinematic YouTube video. This would make it almost impossible to replicate.